eSports is going to have the first ban, and they're actually going to ban Bellica. Bellica did get a drone change. Change. It's not it's not a nerf. It's a balance. It's a balance on it. But the big thing is that instead of having pips, where if I hit it 3 or 4 times it dies, it now has health. So it's really going to need to be focused down. It's one of those abilities where late game, if your carry's not paying attention to that, it can deal a lot of damage and just drain your casters and support.
And Team Finesse banning out Decker. Obviously, she received no direct changes in the most recent patch. I expected Decker to still be the go-to support first pick and first ban a majority of the time. And also Bellica as well is a very diverse hero. She normally see her run in mid, but it's not foreign to see her run in the support lane as well. And Notch, you previously asked the question, who's going to be the king of the jungle? And according to Blood Mortius, it's going to be Grux.
Which is, so I've talked to a lot of people this week. I've heard people say, Grux is still strong in the jungle, but Chimera's better early. I don't know if we're going to see Chimera, but I do know Grux is still very strong. Are we going to see heroes like Sevarog in the jungle, or is Sevarog going to be moved to an offlane position? We're going to see, again, the Rampage back in the jungle. It's going to be interesting to see how this week plays out. It's not jungles. The jungle didn't get a massive change, minus the experience, but they did get the minions now hit you more consistently. And so before, with a competent, good jungler, could kite camps, not take any damage. Now it seems to be a little bit more difficult. Over on Team Finesse, their next pick, Shane, they're running double carry.
There it is.
Revenant, Twin Blast.
I expected to see this. A lot of people are looking at this and kind of going, what year is it? It is 2017. It is May the 20th. I promise you guys. Both of these carries are the mid-game ability damage-based carries. Of course, their auto attacks are still very respectable, especially in that post-40-point area. But their mid-game is really where they thrive. Twin Blast, up until Revenant's release, is always pound for pound the best sort of team fighting based, maybe not team fight, but just had the most presence early on in the game. His prerequisite farm wasn't as large as a Sparrow. Revenant falls into that as well. So what I expect to see here, and I know a lot of people might be a little bit jarred by this, but Revenant's ability to hold his own in the mid lane is actually significant. You use that obliterate, you clear out the wave as best as you can. The moment that clear is gone and your opponent is isolated by himself, you use that obliterate, and if as long as you are able to overcome his lack of mobility, whether that's through your play or whether that's through your team changing a strategy and making sure that the jungler or offlaner is rotating your mid lane when it's necessary, Revenant can really thrive in that mid lane. Not necessarily in the laning stage per se, but once the lane stage starts to break down, Raptors start becoming much more of a prime objective, pushing down towers, things like that. He really, really is a formidable opponent.
Yeah, and so we've got over on Toronto Esports, they're going to pick up their support, Narbash, and Shinbi offlane. We're going to see B certified. We're going to see the power of Shinbi this particular match. I'm actually really excited to see Shinbi with her changes. She can now cast all kill while moving. If she gets stunned, it doesn't automatically reset her. Why did I just forget her ability name? Her rushing beat.
Okay. No, there you go. Nailed it.
Charge. Rushing beat. She can actually still cast that. It's 10 seconds, so she has a lot of time to cast that. So really good picks up by Toronto Esports, which means we're going to see offlane. I'm assuming offlaner and mid lane support. Yep.
Ooh.
Richter.
Oh, baby. Is that my boy Chill Phil? Is that my boy Chill Phil, Notch? We haven't seen Chill Phil in a while. Chill Phil was the most dominant jungler and offlaner, depending on the role, in triangle formation around this time last year.
Yeah.
He was widely respected from his Richter play. He was widely respected throughout the competitive play this time last year when they were dominating. And Richter is not a hero we see very often. It's generally a very player-specific hero who has practiced and refined their ability to land those riplashes on on a consistent basis. Chill Phil is one of those, and I'm very, very excited to see this. Talking about the Morgesh, I'm assuming that's going to be the offlaner, and we haven't mentioned some of the card changes. Tainted Magic is one of those cards that was completely changed. Tainted Magic. Stop! It's not the stream is not ready for your Imsco impression quite yet. Tainted Magic on Morgesh is actually a beautiful thing to behold. Between the damage over time of Hive, as well as her low cooldown ability to spam that mark, it's it does so much damage. It just takes her kit and brings it to a whole new level.
It makes it so in the first like 50% of your health is not there. It's non-existent within seconds. It's like, hey, I'm at half health and I'm going to hurt a lot. It's interesting pick. Now, are we going to see Chill Phil on Richter, or are we going to see Louis on Richter? So we've got two options for Richter there. So Toronto Esports looks like their last two picks, are going to be one of my favorite heroes, Faye the Bay, and a Sparrow pick, Shane.
I think Sparrow was a given, judging by the fact that Finesse has both Twin Blast and Revenant. I don't think we're going to see any Yin. I mean, Grim and Yin are probably in a league of their own as far as where they fall currently in the competitive meta. Right. It's not a good thing. It's not a good league to be in. It's below the minor league. But Faye is one of those heroes that her lane presence has been buffed significantly with her ability for those nettles having that stacking damage. She does a significant amount of damage, and I'm sorry, has a significant amount of presence and harass in the laning stage. But with that being said there, Notch, especially against a Revenant as well, assuming this is a mid Revenant, not yet determined how this lane's going to be. It could be Morigesh mid. It could be Morigesh in the off lane. I'm very hesitant to put Revenant in the off lane. I think he'll get abused and completely bullied around, but we'll see once we get into the game here. But right now, on the side of Team Finesse, they have no inherent purity sensor carry.
They don't.
Who could carry that card, rather.
Right.
And that's where Faye is just going to go like, oh boy, that's going to be pretty devastating. A fly trap into a smash and grab. There's a lot of potential with this Faye here, with just abusing the fact that they don't really have a natural purity sensor carrier.
And it looks like the last pickup for Team Finesse is going to be Sevarog. So we will see Sevarog run in the jungle. Chill Phil will be on Sevarog. We'll see Louis on Richter. I mean, it's going to be interesting for me watching Chill Phil on this Sevarog in the jungle, how well he farms camps and what his build is. Are we going to see, Lazarus Blade come out, which gives you the health and the extra damage? How is the jungler rotation going to change? One white can't pick up the greens and then clear the rest of the camps. Are we going to see greens still used for gank potential? There's a lot of different ways the junglers have to play now. So I'm excited to see how this works out. Looking at these drafts, though, Shane,
I have a lot of questions.
Team Finesse has got a big front line. They've got Richter with that sick, nasty Riplash. You pull in a target, isolate a target, kill him pretty quickly. Plus, you have that ability to root with Subjugate over on Sevarog as well. They've got a nasty front line. I'm interested to see how this draft plays out for both of these teams.
Toronto Esports is going to be much more reliant on their jungler for engagements. I don't expect for Crash Bang Boom to have that much impact this game, just strictly because their lack of a front line. Grux is tanky. He can transition into a tank, but he is not going to be as tanky as a Sevarog. And I like that point about the Lazarus key, especially how the implications of picking up that Lazarus key with how the jungle changes, and also with Sevarog. Sevarog has always been a little bit more, had a little bit more prerequisite farm for him, just due to the fact that he has that stacking. He has to stack up his souls in order to really get the most out of his kit. So when it comes to that Sevarog jungle, sometimes they farm a little bit more than say a Grux roaming around across the map, or a Kwong or something along those lines. So now that the jungle is a little bit more punishing in terms of you aren't always going to have full health, Lazarus Key allows Sevarog to farm much quicker, but also make sure that his health isn't quite as low as it would be in other situations. So that may be another card that, even though it wasn't changed due to the jungle changes, we see picked up. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how this Sevarog is going to be able to maneuver with that new jungle. Is it going to be more farm-based, or is he going to be foregoing having consistent soul stacks, securing his late game presence, and try to gain an advantage through other means, roaming across the map, getting control of river buffs? One other thing we didn't mention, Notch, the gold buff changes.
Which we'll mention in the game. I just got the replay ID. Are we going to see that gold buff abused? Are we going to see the offlaner trying to make plays and pick that up? Are we going to see that go to the jungler? Are we going to see that go to the supports?
Yep.
Because it is now acts like a river buff, where it spawns at 3 minutes. Every 2 minutes gives you 300 experience, or 300 card experience per kill, and it only has about 150 health. So 3 shots, it's dead. Somebody picks it up. I am super excited about this match. Looking at these teams, though, Shane, And looking purely at the draft, I think Team Finesse has a much bigger front line, better engage potential than Toronto eSports does. And I think overall a better power curve. They're going to have a strong early game, really strong mid game, and their late game is going to be nasty. Their early game right now, I think for me, is the scariest with Moragesh, Revenant, and Twin Blast.
I agree, and I also expect to see more movement out of Team Finesse across the map. Well, I think out of Oxygen, we're going to see a little bit more static lanes. Shimby definitely has the advantage when it comes to wave clear and 1v1 potential, especially against carries. Shimby can absolutely destroy Revenant and Twin Blast. If they get caught out on their own, Revenant and Twin Blast versus Shimby, Shimby gets that kill 100% of the time, assuming Certified doesn't make misplays, and that he really doesn't make misplays that often, Kappa. So with that being said, I think the laning phase is really going to determine a lot. If Team Finesse is able to get those pickoffs, as they're going to be looking to do with Chill, Phil, and Lucer, looking for subjugates into Riplash or Riplash into Colossal Blow, a lot of 1-2 knockout potential from those two heroes respectively, and they protect their backline against Shimby, don't allow Blood Mortius to get several hero smash and grabs off or hit several heroes with the Warlord's challenge, I think they really, really will be able to set the tempo of this match. But if they aren't able to get that momentum, and this is a defensive conservative game in terms of kills, I think Be Certified has the I'm sorry, not Be Certified, Toronto eSports and Be Certified are going to be able to have the edge.
Well, I am at 5 seconds. Shane, are you, my friend?
I am. Let's do this. I'm so excited.
Oh, I am so excited.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. It has now been over a year since Notch and I have been casting, organizing these competitive events here to from Agora's Rising all the way to the Paragon Competitive League North America number 8, all the way to the qualifiers for the exhibition, the $15,000 exhibition, which was just recently announced in August. First series of the day, Team Finesse versus Toronto eSports. These two well-established players. One team not so established, but we recognize a lot of them. It's going to be Lucera on Richter, Proficiency on Morgesh, Suki on the Revenant, Chill Phil on the Severog, and Strafe on the Twin Blast. So you were right, Notch. Lucera is going to be on that Richter.
And over on the side of Toronto eSports, we have got, I'm going to butcher it because I always do because he loves it when I do it, Shadad playing my man Narbash, Nymph on Sparrow, B-Cert is going to be in the off lane on that Shinbi, Blood Mortius in the jungle, Rockin' Grux, and Mikey in the mid lane on Faye the Bay. I'm excited about this mid lane matchup here with Faye. It's going to be interesting to see if Revenant is off lane or if Proficiency is going to be in the off lane with Moragesh, which it looks like that's where he's headed now. And it looks like they are going to put Revenant in the off lane, Shane.
I'm intrigued by this. Narbash with a Sparrow, you have the Thunk into Piercing Arrow. That's a lot of harassment damage. Again, Revenant has no mobility. Generally, when you think about offlaners, you see mobility, you see ability to get yourselves out of ganks, and Revenant has literally none of those. Of course, he is able to complement rotations from the jungle very, very well. The moment they decide to push into a tower and the creeps start to diminish with a rotation coming out from maybe Chill Phil, I think they could definitely get some kills and abuse this Sparrow and the Narbash. So I think Chill Phil's rotation and movement across the map for the first 3 to 7 minutes of this game with those river buffs timing and the gold buff timings respectively, I think is going to tell a lot about how Suki is, how the overall mindset is in regards to overcoming Revenant's weaknesses in this lane.
So I want to point out the junglers real fast while there's not a ton of action going on here. Chill Phil has picked up an Oasis Siphon. Blood Mortius has a Stalker's Key. They're going with that extra health on basic attack, plus the lifesteal on attack as well. Chill Phil started with the green camp, so he could use that to help him clear these minion waves. We're 2:30 into the map. We're going to see the river buffs spawn in 30 seconds here. Are we going to see them go for the river buffs and try and get that early yank? Or are we going to see them farm a little bit more? So that's one thing we need to watch. There's a lot of vision on this map right now. I mean, there's tons of wards down. But, Chad, I want to ask you guys, spam those emotes if you have them. Who do you guys looking at these draft think is going to win? Or do we have the orange side or the blue team going to win here?
Another thing to take in consideration at that 3-minute mark is the gold buff as well. That's another objective that you can contest early game if you don't want to look for the river buffs, or if you're able to pick up a river buff and you're looking to get more out of objective-based play. Then you can take it if it's a purple or a blue or black buff. That really enables early game ganks quite a bit, and maybe turn a river buff control into gold buff control into a kill There's a lot of early game. This patch really opened up the early game in terms of controlling objectives, while at the same time maybe not putting as much emphasis into kills and towers as before. Suki, Blood Mortis actually flanked around the weak side of the jungle. The smash and grab was there, but unfortunately Shadon was just a moment too late on the thunk, and Suki is gotta be counting his blessings right there, because without that thunk mistiming, he was dead to rights, and that more than likely would have been first blood.
So I want to point the gold buff went to the supports in both lanes.
There you go.
So we're going to see, it looks like we may see the supports pick those up, give them a little bit of extra card power throughout to keep them, to make them so they can build cards faster. So we can see them get your quenching scales, Honor the Purest, come online just a little bit sooner here. So Suki, almost level 5. He's doing a very good job holding his own in this lane here. Dealing quite a bit of damage. The thunk is going to land. Chill Phil, if you see him in the jungle back here, super low. Almost died to a jungle camp. He does get out. But Suki is punishing Nim in this lane, which I thought this lane for sure was going to be hard for him to carry, or at least hold. But it looks like he's doing a damn good job right now.
I think Shadon and Nimp need to respect the Obliterate coming out from Suki, because Nimp actually moved forward past her creep, and the moment that happened, Suki just, okay, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to smash that Obliterate button, and she took the full chunk of the damage coming out from that Obliterate. So I think more than likely, Toronto Esports might not be too familiar with playing against an off-lane Revenant, but if you can just make sure you're keeping yourself by your creep, you're freezing the lane respectively when you don't want to make active pushes, and you don't move too far forward to allow those Obliterates to get the full damage out of those Obliterates, you can neglect that, but I'm sorry, you can abuse that. But as of right now, they are neglecting it, and that's why Nimp is taking a little bit more damage than I think everyone expected here. Blood Mortis in the mid lane, looking to catch out Proficiency, has the blue buff, has the speed buff, does miss the smash and grab. Proficiency's going to be able to dodge it and get away cleanly. Over in right lane, though, Suki gets the first blood with a good rotation by Chill Phil, and a pretty straightforward first blood. Subjugate, Obliterate, Isolation, Decimation, and that's just a 1-2 punch.
So Suki 2v1ing, picking up that kill onto the support. I mean, you want the carry in that situation. You always want to kill the carry first to deny them that farm. But if you're Suki, you're happy you picked up a kill. You're happy you got that influx of card power. We got to watch him, though, because he's level 5 now, so he does have Reckoning online, which means he'll get those extra bounties. He gets those extra kills, or the extra amber, 600 extra amber. He takes him into the Nether Realm and picks up those kills here. We are seeing a lot more rotations out of Blood Mortius. Blood Mortius has been trying to find a kill here in the mid lane. They are going to get Proficiency.
Again, Blood Mortius actually mistimed the smash and grab from the Venus Flytrap. Maybe a little unfamiliarity with the timing on Flytrap, as Faye, again, wasn't a hero we saw almost ever prior to patch 40.
Suki over here. He's got 1v1 and Nimp at this moment in time. Is he going to be able to pick up a kill here? Nimp is getting aggressive.
There's the Reckoning. If Obliterate's online, Suki should get this kill. There it is. That's a dead Sparrow. Just barely able to pick up the kill, but does get it. This offlane Revenant, we were very skeptical of it, Notch, and Suki is proving us wrong, which is something he's been doing for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, the Reckoning into... He landed 3 of those auto attacks, then he hits the Obliterate. Of course, Scar active as well, and he picks up that kill. He gets that bounty, extra 600 card power, plus the card power from the kill there. And sitting at 10 card power as of this moment in time. 2-0. Picked up a kill onto Narbash and onto Sparrow here.
As we kind of expected, Lucer and Chill Phil are roaming together. Anytime Chill Phil is on that side of the map, they immediately gang up, especially around those odd number of minutes where you have the river buff and the gold buff spawning. Purple buff was picked up by Chill Phil, sending him into the Shadow Realm. That is the great utilization of the purple buff. If you can't really find kills out of it, at least to deny your opponent some vision, D-Ward. That's exactly what they just did. But both these offlaners are holding up on their own, but absolutely, Suki is, I would say, overwhelmingly winning his lane with the first blood coming from Chill Phil rotating, and also just getting up that solo kill over onto them. The tower has gone down here in the safe lane. Of course, Revenant's wave clear, not necessarily the best, but we always talk about it, Notch, the silver lining of your off-lane tower falling, especially when your off-laner is a little bit more farm-based oriented as is Revenant.
Well, I feel like it's more of a benefit for Certified and Shinbi, being able to sit here and free farm. Yes, Revenant needs it. In the mid lane here, Mikey's actually going to fall. Good rotation from Louis and Strafe. They're going to pick up that kill on Mikey in the mid lane here. Are they going to get out? There is no rotation. There is another fight here. Nymph caught out in the jungle. There is a colossal blow right into Louis. It does look like Nymph is going to fall as well to Strafe.
Pop, pop, pop. That's what
Triple
Twin Blast
tap
does,
of
baby.
death, my friend.
Pop, pop, pop. And now mid lane, they're able to get that.
Man.
And they're going to continue to make pushes. Lucer doesn't get the Riplash. They don't have a siege minion, so I don't think this push is going to be able to pick up this tower. Get some damage into it, maybe wait for a siege minion, fall back, and then continue to look for a push. But they're actually engaging. There's the chill Phil sweeping around from the strong side of the jungle. The Colossal Blow, the Subjugate proficiency was there as well for the mark. The siege minion is here. Nothing to protect this mid tower, and that's the tier what? 2 tier 1 towers falling in very short sequence here.
2 minutes. 2 minutes apart. Yeah, this early game for Finesse is this early game is scary. You've got the early game power of Suki with Obliterate and Scar. You've got the early game power of Morigesh. Suki got a little bit aggressive there. He is going to go and be certified. Is he going to escape, Shane?
How many wolves are? The all kill doesn't get it. I believe that was a 3 count there. The piercing arrow still not enough. They're continuing to chase here. They want to make sure they don't overextend. There's the Riplash coming out on to be certified. He does not have his teleport up. The Obliterate, a significant amount of damage. Not enough for a kill, but enough to sound the horns of retreat. And Toronto eSports were looking for a kill in Nasuki. They had an opportunity, weren't able to do it. All the meanwhile Strafe on the opposite side of the map, popping all the farm.
So Morigesh, we're 14 sitting at 14 card power. I'm trying to figure out when does Tainted Magic come online for Morigesh. Raptors are going to be picked up right now for Toronto eSports, so that was the benefit of what they did there. They chased, they pushed him out. I don't know if the rotation is going to be fast enough from Finesse here to contest this. Chill Fill and Proficiency are almost there. Toronto eSports doesn't have vision. I don't know.
2-man Subjugate. There's a Smasher Grab, peeling Chill Fill away from them, but Nip is still in a lot of trouble. That big old voodoo coming at you and securing the kill. 2 go down very quickly. I would say that is a very greedy Raptor rotation. They didn't really have much presence on the map, and it was very obvious to Team Finesse that is what's happening. And Chill Fill landed the beautiful Subjugate, and it pretty much was all but over the moment that happened.
They did pick up 2 kills there. They also pick up was it 1 or 2 of the Raptors.
One Mortius. Not going to get it. Suki was looking for the Obliterate, wasn't able to pick it up.
Good rotation out of Finesse, just punishing Toronto eSports, going for those Raptors there. We're 10 minutes into the game. There's already been 8 kills.
Love it.
Over on the side of Finesse. They've been picking up kills left and right here. Nymph and Shadon just being bullied, man, by Suki and the rotations from these guys.
One card we're going to be seeing a lot of, I think, on a wide variety of heroes is the Empyrean Mask. It's a 4-point card that gives you the toggle between 24 power, 16 armor of both damages, and 1.2 mana regen. So you basically are, it's quite valuable. It's essentially 4 points worth of power in each respective field that you can on demand switch depending on what you need. So it's a very diverse card, and I think most order heroes will pick that up. If we see Steel in the future, Feng now, anyone who has access to that is a damage-based hero will more than likely start to see Empyrean Mask picked up, which again, prior to point 40, we pretty much never saw.
No, I mean, it did with the changes to armor recently, and also with the change to armor, it makes it a little bit more of a valuable card, but it's also just being able to toggle between those abilities, being able to switch up. Shinbi over here, we got a fight Certified against Chill Phil. Certified is taking a ton of damage into the tower. Subjugate's going to land. Chill Phil
one more
is
Siphon.
Going to
Should
dominate,
be enough.
dude.
Siphon, got him. Wow. Yeah, Be Certified pushed that tower. He felt comfortable doing that, but I don't think he realized how out of mana he is. Shinbi, very similar to offlaners like Countess, is 100% reliant on her mana pool. Be Certified didn't really have that much mana at all. Chill Phil just completely abused that fact, as well as the Colossal Blow into the tower. That certainly helped and picked up that kill onto Shinbi. I think that's somewhat of an uncharacteristic mistake coming out from Certified, but Team Finesse are going to take it, and now they invade into the strong side of the jungle, bullying Blood Mortius away. I'm sorry, the weak side of the jungle there. And they just have firm control of this match here, and this is what we expected. When you see this draft, they're the ones who need to set the tempo. They have a draft meant to do this, and so far their execution has been on point. As long as they continue to stay consistent with their rotations and stay consistent with the 9 vision while at the same time taking control of Raptors, they can just throw this baby in autopilot and cruise themselves to a victory.
That's the big one, Shane. Like, they have got vision control. They're warding and dewarding really effectively. They have vision really deep in the weak side of that jungle. They also have vision in the strong side of the jungle as well. They've done such a good job with that. And 9 kills, Shane. This early game for them is really, really impressive. If you're Toronto eSports right now, we're 13 minutes into the game. We've been killed 9 times. We really don't have any map control right now, and our vision is really lacking. What do we do? How do they come back from this? What is their game plan right now for the next, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes?
Get that Sparrow, that prerequisite farm that she needs to become that engine that will be fuel and move this team towards victory. I think that's the biggest thing they need to do. And thus far, Sparrow 0-3-0 with 50 CS. You compare that to both of the carries on the side of Team Finesse. Obviously, Strafe way out in the lead here at 90 CS to Suki's 46. So the off-lane Revenant essentially has equal CS to that of the safe lane Sparrow. But of course, it's Revenant. He gets those boosts from his kills through the nature of his kit. Nymph thinks he's okay in this side over here, but look at this deep invasion into the jungle. Lucer actually uses the skewer onto Nymph right through the wall there, clipping the wall, catches out Nymph, but still there's no Narbash. And this is what I was afraid about this Narbash. Narbash can't be a front line. It's just, especially against a team consisting of a Sevarog and a Richter, you're just going to get silenced, knocked around, not going to be able to do much. Really, you're just a thunk machine at this point. And I think right now, if I'm Toronto eSports, I'm rethinking our strategy specifically when it comes to these engagements.
Yeah, I mean, don't take them.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Pretty much.
At this point, just don't take them.
Under a tower.
Right? Yeah. Or it's a 1v2 situation. Like, you have to have the upper hand. They are proficiency 20 card power, Suki 21 card power, Strafe sitting at 27 card power. He has a 10 card power advantage over Nymph right now. The enemy carry
might be a little bit of trouble. Chillfill and proficiency are isolated by themselves. They were able to navigate themselves over to safety. It was looking troubling there. You see this big 4-man invasion over to the Orb Prime, actually. 15 minutes in. Raptors are about to spawn. The vision is definitely in favor of Team Finesse. They have a formation of triangle of wards surrounding the Raptor camp, and already you see them rotating over there. Suki and their carries, respectively, will be a little bit late to the party, but their front line is there. They have vision. And I almost feel like they can just almost bait out Toronto eSports. Toronto knows they have to take control of this Raptors if they have any hope of getting back into this game. And having that advantage right now, they can just essentially play fish in the barrel with Richter. Sit there, zone out, wait for Lucer to land a hook. That's exactly what he does. He lands it onto Blood Mortius. The silence is there. He tries to turn around and smash and grab on a Strafe. Maybe to try to get something going. Be Certified continues to pursue and looking for the kill. The all kill gets it, but he's going to lose his life for it. A 1 for 2 for one of the 2 carries on the side of Team Finesse. So they still have Suki to fall back on. Almost an insurance plan. They smashed the crash bang boom from Shadow's trying to do what it can. It did isolate Chillfill, allowing Nymph to sit in the back line and get the damage done. He needs to finally start getting some kills. But here comes Suki, looking for it. There's the obliterate. One auto attack should do it. He's going to peel around the corner, looking to do what he can, and he gets him. One last auto attack, diving across the tier 2 tower, back to the safe. He actually uses the Reckoning to dodge the damage from the tower, and also looking for a kill into Mikey, and the obliterate once again. This is just wonderful play coming out from Suki, showing what Revenant does best. Isolation and decimation is what this hero was designed for, and that's exactly what Suki has been doing.
I mean, you have a moment here where it's like, okay, we're going to see Toronto eSports come in. They're going to pick up a couple kills, and rotation coming out of Finesse. Suki picking up a double kill there. He's 5-0-1 right now, Shane. He's picking up Raptors as well, sitting at 25 card power. The rotations from Team Finesse are they are on point, man. There's really very little Toronto can do. 17 minutes into the game, and you have a team. This is what I was worried about, is you have a draft like Finesse's draft that's just going to be able to bully early and mid game, and that's exactly what they're doing. We really need to see a little bit more farm. Blood Morty's here in the mid lane, Shane. He's going to land a smash and grab onto Proficiency. Proficiency's going to be able to do anything. Yep,
they are going to be able to get a kill, but at the same time, they essentially trade their mid laner for the off laner of Be Certified. So I thought that finally was going to be a little bit of some signs of stabilization and momentum leaning a little bit more towards Toronto eSports. Morgesh isn't really a threat when it comes to big full 5-on-5 team fights. She's really good in the skirmishes. She's really good at isolating in the laning stage, or rather just in a 1v1 situation. So this is a 4v4, and I think this is quite a ballsy call coming out from Toronto eSports. But when you're this far behind, this is pretty much your all in at this point in time. Subjugate onto 2. Quenching skills will try to keep themselves up. They know they're in trouble. Shadon's just going to get hit with the hammer. Thrown into the danger zone right there. Now Nymph is isolated. There's nothing to protect him. The Venus Flytrap used as a sign of desperation for Mikey, trying to get Masters with the controller, unfortunately. Well, there's a loose error. Don't worry, we didn't see that. Shake that one off. Ain't a problem. Suki's going to be able to land these autos here. Obliterate used. 4 go down. And I think that Orb Prime push was the sign of Toronto eSports recognizing how much of a deficit they're at here, Josh.
Yeah, and Chill Phil, he's like, you know what? You guys got this. I'm going to stay back here and start this. Why don't you come over and help me pick up this Orb Prime? Louis is low. They're going to have to juggle this damage. I don't know if they're going to be able to.
Oh, no, Chill, Phil.
Chill's down.
No. Oh, no, Suki, too.
Suki, get out.
Oh, God. Orb Prime is prime time, baby. Okay. They're going to be able to get it. Oh, man. It looks like Chill Phil has... Twin Blast just died. What killed Twin Blast? What killed Strafe?
No idea.
Was it the root from Orb Prime?
I just...
Well, that's one way to get yourself back into the game. You bargain with the Orb Prime. You say, hey, man, Prime, listen, Harambe. We're at a pretty big deficit. We need a little bit. We need some help. And Orb Prime said, I got you, baby. And
don't worry, Toronto eSports. I'm on your side today. And he kills both the carries for him. So, Shane, Toronto eSports going after the Orb Prime. It's a really weird call. They're behind. They're behind in kills. They're behind in card power. They're behind in farm.
Certified was backing, and Shimby is just her back animation has a certain audio cue associated with it that lets everyone around you know you're backing. And Lucerne Proficiency heard that and immediately got themselves over there and picked up a kill into Certified. I don't think he was expecting that, but I think at this stage, Toronto eSports, this is what they've been doing this entire game, is just roaming across the map and finding picks.
I mean, this is. Why would you not? Your rotations are on point. You've got wards everywhere. You have vision on the map. You've got heroes that when they get into a 1v1 or a 1v2 situation, they're just going to deal a ton of damage. You also have Orb Prime. Be Certified with the lazy back. He's going to get caught out. This tier 2 tower is dead to rights. I really don't think they can defend this here with Orb Prime activated and being this far behind in card power.
Whiplash went out, swing and a miss. And they're going to look for a siege here on the mid inhibitor. Strafe did set the left lane, and it appears right lane is set as well. Even if it's not, they have plenty of time before they have to worry about a wave of Toronto eSports entering their territory and having to back to defend. This is going to be a very difficult siege for Toronto eSports to hold. Their wave clear is pretty much reliant on Faye and Sparrow, which means that they're going to have to put themselves in an awkward position if they want to do that. Subjugate onto the Grux. Knock away. Actually, there was the hook right there. Into the two-man skewer. Be Certified kind of walks into it, and Blood Morius gets torn apart by the time he's able to do much of anything. Be Certified recognizing he's not in the best spot of the world. Stasis Gem to try to avoid the inevitable, but they just wait for that to end out. They pick up 2 kills themselves. Chill Phil in the front line just trying to zone loose air. Links forward. Subjugate onto the Sparrow, and that's a dead Sparrow. Pretty straightforward. And not much else to say, but Team Finesse, in a just domineering fashion, have come into this game against Toronto eSports, one of the most respected and absolutely one of the favorites of the Paragon Competitive League, and have just toyed with this team right here.
For me, it's all about the draft here. It's
I
all
agree,
about the draft.
Wholeheartedly agree.
You have no engage on the side of Toronto eSports, and you've got this super strong front line on Finesse. You have this insane early game with Moragesh, Revenant, and Twin Blast. I mean, Obliterate, Mark and Hive, Twin Blast grenades. Like, the early game for Finesse is insane. We're now in the mid game, and they've got such a lead that as of this point, all Toronto can do is they just have to farm. They have to look for a single pick. They have to catch somebody out, get a kill, and go back to farming. Turtle up and do you. You know what I mean? I would be honestly Nymph in the mid lane. Let those minions come through. There's another engagement in the jungle here. Be Certified is going to pop that stasis gem.
Yeah.
He's just waiting to die at this point.
Look at that.
There it is.
That's one way to deal with all kill. Suki does get hit, but actually, oh, look at that beautiful utilization of Reckoning. The ultimate actually does cancel out the Venus Flytrap. Suki recognized that was going to put him in a terrible position. The Crash Bang Boom, no. Now that the Reckoning has ended, Suki's in there. Blood Mortius swings the double pane and is able to get the kill. The follow-up from Toronto eSports, is it there to finally maybe get themselves an advantageous team fight? Looks like that's not going to be the case, as the Colossal Blow from Severog knocked him right into the corner of that jungle camp. He gets taken out as well. But you saw there, Reckoning has some nuances to it that aren't quite completely understood, I think, by a lot of the community. And essentially the way that works is, let's say you're about to get hit by a fly trap, a Venus fly trap. You're about to get hit by an all kill from Shinbi. You hear the animation going off. You can use Reckoning immediately on a target, and it cancels out all abilities that are about to hit you. And that's why we saw Suki live. A moment of hesitation on him would have been the death of him, and maybe a little bit of a team fight going over to Toronto eSports. But that one big play out of him kept him alive for much longer than expected, and continuing to dominate is Team Finesse.
It kept him alive for his team to rotate over. He does, of course he falls, but can we talk about the fact that he also has a stasis gem?
Yes, that's one card we failed to mention, Notch, that it's been turned into a... It used to be order specific, but now it is available to everyone, as well as the fact that it's only 5 points.
It's down from 7. So he uses his Reckoning, he misses the fly trap and the smash and grab, then he stasis gems, and it allows his team to rotate over and pick up some kills. Like, that's a carry with a stasis gem.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd see it. But we saw it. There it is.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It's good at dealing with a fly trap. It's good at dealing with all kill. Really, the only way to dodge that is either with Reckoning or all kill. Riplash on to certified. All kill and proficiency. Quenching Scales is going to keep proficiency alive. Not a moment too late with Lucera on the activation of that card. And certified continues to put himself into a position where he can get kill potential, but the play from Suki, or just the overall individual play here, has denied certified kills that just from the naked eye appeared to be an easy kill.
So, 25 minutes into the game, Shane, Suki, 42 card power. He's going with a very classic build here. He's got 4 adamant edges. He has picked up a new card, a card we haven't seen, Traitor's Touch. Basic attack on players deal 5% of their current health as additional basic damage. Plus, of course, he's rocking that Stasis Gem, which, like we said, is now a universal. It's only a 5 cost down from 7. Strafe, 48 card power. He's picked up Hemorrhage, Shane. I was talking about this card. I was told this card is the Quenching Scales for carries. It gives you lifesteal and attack speed, but the activation on this card, it makes you berserk for 6 seconds. You gain 44 attack speed, 80% or 80 plus 80 max movement speed. But you take an additional 15% damage. So it's one of those cards, high risk, high reward. You're going to be able to melt somebody, but if you don't have support, you're probably going to get blown up.
Another thing that it does is it enables tower pushes so much more.
Yeah.
So much more. That card run on someone like a... He's just hanging out in the jungle having a good time, just doing chill fill things. But it enables split pushers like Feng Miao or Greystone. You throw that on them, and all of a sudden their ability to actually damage towers and take towers down, which was decent to begin with, all of a sudden your towers just getting torn apart. That Hemorrhage just enables them to chop towers down that much faster and also increase their wave clear as well.
They were trying to bait Orb Prime. Strafe was firing away at the Orb Prime. Did they get Blood Mortius? They tricked him. RIP! Blood Mortius.
There is the Riplash on to Shadon. He's going to get torn up. He's popping the Quenching Scales, using the Honor of the Pure, trying to do what he can, saving him maybe all of about a half a second of life there. Blood Mortius off, as well as Shadon. So I'm not sure what Toronto eSports can do here other than going for some all-in play 3v5 underneath the Orb Prime. They're going in on it. Hopefully, Team Finesse has a little bit more respect onto the Orb Prime. Toronto eSports, Mikey's going in there. Maybe looking for a fly trap, looking for a steal potentially. That would be the best case situation. But Suki uses a Reckoning. Nymph gets torn apart. 4 members of Toronto's eSports down. Orb Prime at a quarter HP. And they, at this point, I think, can just march down mid lane, take against the core. One change, again, that is very important to mention here, Notch, is how the core interacts with how many inhibitors are up or down. So the core is much more difficult to take down than it used to be with only 1 inhibitor off, but with the substantial lead that is on the side of Team Finesse, as well as the fact that they have 2 carries, they can chew through structures even faster than conventional drafts. They can absolutely take down the core if they find one more fight. And Shadon, the Subjugate, the Riplash, it's a beautiful combination to behold. And they've been pulling it off time and time again, and I think that's going to be all she wrote here for Toronto eSports, ladies and gentlemen.
Missed a Riplash, Shane. I mean, that's going to be GG. Finesse looking nasty early mid-game.
Strafe just killed Sparrow through the region of the base. You know what we call that? You know what we call that? Pop, pop,
we call
pop.
that
Pop,
BM
pop,
is what we call that. We call that BM. Bad manners, straight bad manners. GG to Finesse. I mean,
It was draft. It was it was draft.
they weren't even challenged. For them, they just walked all over Toronto eSports. There was really nothing Toronto eSports could do. They didn't have any engage, Shane. The strength of, well, we won't even count Twin Blast into this with grenades. The strength of Obliterate early, Mark early for both Morrigesh and Revenant. You have these two heroes. This early game is just so nasty, and they exploited
so sick.
That. So nasty,
so sick,
so dope.
Mm.
God
That's
dang.
a sick nasty dope.
That is a sick nasty dope. I don't even know. What does Toronto do game 2? What do they do? Draft better? I mean, is that what
in that situation? I think it came down to the offlane Revenant. Offlane Revenant has inherent weaknesses that you can absolutely exploit. For sure, absolutely exploit. Yeah. He doesn't have that mobility. He doesn't have an escape. His escape, you could say you can use Reckoning as a sort of pseudo-escape, but that doesn't come on until level 5.
You gotta get 5 for
He's
that.
very easy to take advantage of. And I think not only did Toronto eSports, rather, not really put any pressure onto the offlane of Suki's Revenant, but Suki was getting kills onto Sparrow in situations where I feel like that shouldn't have happened. I think Toronto eSports was caught off guard by an offlane Revenant. They more than likely felt that Morrigesh was going to be... That's all I had to think, is they miscalculated the laning configuration of maybe Revenant in the mid lane and Morrigesh in the off lane. Weren't really prepared to it going into the game, weren't able to adapt to it, not only overall on their overarching strategy, but specifically, I mentioned this, how they're positioning in the lane stage. As long as you're just not moving forward past those creep, and you have that creep as a barrier to mitigate Obliterate's damage, you can just sit back and completely negate Revenant's core functionality, and that is isolation. They didn't really do that. I think Nimp was a little bit overzealous in his positioning, a little bit overconfident that they could abuse that by themselves. Maybe switch Blood Mortius, instead of having emphasis elsewhere on the map, over to the offlane, punish that Revenant, and I think that game would have been completely different.
Well, I'm really